Boom. Let's see. Peace, power, and prosperity. Let me make sure we everything is good and we are live.
We live slap.
Let me see. Dun, dun, dun.
All right.
Wait a minute. All right, there we go. Yeah, it's a little lag time. We on there. Yeah, we live. Yes. we we here.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. I am on,
Okay.
and yeah, so I got the actual things over here that's going on. Peace, power, and prosperity. This is G Still, and I'm Jay Slap, Cryptoglyphics 21 on your Web3 platform.
Devin.
What's good with you? So what's up, G? Talk to me. What's good with you? We live. Tonight we gonna basically speak. We can continue from last week, and what we was talking about was cryptocurrency. We was talking about the CBDCs, and still is going to go into a little bit of that. And as far as like on the rip, like basically very important concepts that he's going to be speaking about. You know what I'm saying? Again, I don't know if you were here last week. It was just an introduction to 3dlearning.x, which is our platform where we're going to be educating people and onboarding people and creating a community on the blockchain. And still, like I said, if it wasn't for still, I wouldn't be dealing with any of this. And it was a conversation that I had with him uh, 4 years ago, and it was a 20-minute conversation that put me into a lot of different things. And so I really appreciate that. And so, yeah, his time is valuable. What he's saying is valuable. And what he's saying can change your life. We're not financial advisors, though. We're not. I'm going to let you know that we're speaking from the heart.
Absolutely.
We're, we're speaking from what we've learned, what we've been exposed to, and we just want to share that with you guys. We want to empower you with this information because that's what it's all about at 3D Learning. So, with that being said, I asked my first question is what is CBDCs and how can they potentially change the world?
Well,
Uh oh,
actually, I wanted to start off by reviewing a little bit to get into the CBDCs.
gotcha.
So the first thing I want to do for those who were with us last week is just to do a quick refresher course on the X coins. Now, when we talked about XRP, remember XRPs are more or less B2B, which is bank to bank, transferring, cross-border payments, wholesale payments between banks. So the banks have to send their money, turn to the XRP, and in 3 to 5 seconds, the message and the money comes at the same time. Right now, with the old antiquated system that we have today, the message gets there first. The money doesn't get overseas till 3 to 4 days later. Everybody wants their money right now. Even when you go to, like I said last week, when you go to a store, even you give them their money, or a restaurant, let's say. You go to a restaurant and you give them their money and they say that you're clear, you can go home. But they don't get their money for about 2 days. And a lot of people don't know that. So now with XRP and also XLM, the wholesale, which is XRP, will be handling the big bulks of money. And that's going to be with banks and institutions. The retail side of it, which is for me and you, going to the grocery store, going out to eat and things of that sort, is going to be XLM. XLM is going to be reaching those who don't have bank accounts as well, because there's going to be something called online banking that you can do digitally. Okay. So basically, those two are what they are. You can say that XRP is more like gold and XLM is more like silver. Then you have XDC. XDC is for trading, smart contracts for trading. You trade. Institutions trade um, uh, throughout each other, institution to institution. But there's also a smart contract that comes with that, you know. And we'll get into the partnership between XDC and XRP later, and that's called R3 quarter. But we'll get into that later because XRP will be settling the money transactions and XDC will be doing the institution to institution smart contracts. So those are the three that you really concentrate on right now, okay? So what was your question again about which leads into CBDCs? What was your question about that?
Basically, and let me say this too, right? Take notes and do your research. Like basically, when he's talking to you, he's giving you information, but it's going to take you to interact with what we're talking about, not just sit here and listen and just say, "Oh, I believe what he's saying." No, go research and what as you
How do I get it?
yes,
Yeah.
I mean everything, far as like anything tonight, what you're talking about, just research it so you can you'll get familiar with you seeing it. You know what I'm saying? So because this is very powerful information. But the question pretty much was, how's this going to change the world? And how the person who's watching, how is it going to affect that person who's watching? What's in it for that guy who or person who knows nothing about
Oh, I'm glad you
cryptocurrency?
said that.
You know what I'm saying? Why should I even listen to this? Why should I be taking notes? Oh,
Okay.
go ahead.
Right. Well, first of all, with the CBDCs, they're called central bank digital currencies. And each bank, you can look it up if you want to, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, SBI in Japan, Santander, the Bank of Egypt, you name it. They're all going to have their own CBDC.
Yes.
CBDC is basically like the US dollar. They can keep printing it and do whatever they want with it. But the value of it doesn't mean anything unless it turns into XRP. So two CBDs can't trust each other from different banks. They don't trust each other. Banks do not trust each other. So if Wells Fargo was sending SBI in Japan $50 million, they wouldn't accept it just from the Wells Fargo CBDC. They have to have something they trust. And that's where XRP comes in with their technology because they all trust that technology. This has been going on since maybe 2012, where they were going around all over the world, doing these underground deals and everything, which leads us to where we are today. So basically, the CBDC of $50 million from Wells Fargo turns into XRP within 3 to 5 seconds. Within 3 to 5 seconds, it gets to Japan with a message and all saying that this is $50 million from Wells Fargo to such and such business or whatever within that time. They trust that because it came through the software of XRP. That's where that comes from. So that's how the CBDs are going to move. The CBDs won't be able to move without that technology. And they all accepted it. So
that technology is very important, because it adds trust to the factor. You understand what I'm saying? Trust. And like you said,
it adds trust. I like
what you said, the underground deals were underground where we couldn't see. You can't see a lot of this stuff. So I want to say this technology.
Because they didn't tell anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's the part about it that's going to cause demand for XRP, things of that sort. That's going to be moving around constantly, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Basically, everything worth bundles of money is going to get digitalized and put on the XRP ledger. I'm talking the stock market.
Everything.
I'm talking real estate. Anything that you can imagine that's bulks of money is going to be on that.
Well,
everything. They're looking for all the money, and anything that they don't get is basically the retail and the unbanked. And usually that's where XLM is going to come in. What's that, Slap?
So basically, for the little person, I want to say, because we are little.
I didn't hear you, buddy. I'm sorry.
We're the little guys, right? We're the little guys, right?
Slap, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? I can hear you. I hear you. Can y'all hear us out there? Can y'all hear us clear? Tell us. Let me know if I can hear. I can hear you. I'm looking at the chat right now. But the thing
Mm-hmm.
is, what I was saying is the little guy. People
Yeah, I
like
can hear you.
you get. So the little guy is basically, it empowers you. You understand what I'm saying? It makes you, uh, puts you in the ball game with the big wigs. You know what I'm saying? This technology. So understanding it is very important. Is what this basically is very important. And what he's saying and what he's talking about is just the technology and how it's moving and how it's changing. It's changing. Now you got to think everybody is moving in that direction. Correct? Still, like you got to see, and that's what the other question I wanted to talk to you about: the partnerships and the different people and organizations that are moving in this direction, and they see what's happening. And let's just say, metaverse, Meta, Facebook changes their name. They know, so there's a lot of companies that are changing and moving in this direction for, and they're moving there for a reason. Key word is that trust factor. The trust factor changes the game. Go ahead, go ahead.
And also what changes the game is speed. Everybody wants their money right now.
Yes.
So the way to stimulate the economy is to have money moving 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like when the stock market is over, what at 4? No more. If you got it, whenever you got to get money out the bank to make a business move with XRP, if you got to do $50 million out of like 3 in the morning, you can just get online and do it. 3 to 5 seconds, no problem. That's going to be spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to stimulate the economy back from what it is today. And a lot of people don't understand what the dollar is like, man. I'll show you a chart next week. They showed the dollar at its peak. And at one time with the dollar, they showed it by using food. You were able to buy 30 Hershey bars for $1 at a time. Now, let's see how weak the dollar's getting now. Now you can only do what did they say? The dollar menu. You can't even do the dollar menu at McDonald's anymore because now it's like $1.49, correct?
Yes, yeah. The dollar store is not
the dollar store is
not the dollar. It's a $1.99 store now. It's like
it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. So like those things that's happening right now is going to stimulate everything to make everything get back onto an even playing field. Now, the bad part about CBDCs are this.
Concern. Yeah.
They're going to have, they're going to have a Fed Now program that's coming up. And the head of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, he made a speech probably like last year, 2022. Yeah. And he basically talked about the Fed Now program and said that the people, the middle class, a lot of the middle class are going to lose their jobs to AIs. And they said that by 2030 or something like that AIs can take over 40% of the jobs, such as like, I'm sure some of you guys seen it already online. They got like at McDonald's, they'll have an arm like making sandwiches. Where I work at, we were at a hospital doing an inspection, and there was a robot behind me that asked me to move out the way, and it went on an elevator and went down to the second floor and gave lab tests to doctors on the second floor. I mean, simple things like that. The grocery store I was just at not too long ago had like a something sweeping and mopping by itself. It was unreal. So what happens to the janitor? What happens to the server? What happens to you know what I mean? What happens to the retail person at a store? It's all when that leaves.
I was at St. I'm gonna tell you this. I was at Sam's Club, right? Sam's Club, and when Sam's Club has changed, I no longer even have to swipe my card anymore, to do anything. It's pretty much just a scan and go. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't go to the register. I just scan and go. My stuff is in the buggy. Bam. While I'm shopping though, a big, massive, computer robot comes over and he's blinking the noise, blinking his little sirens, like move. Or he's
Yeah,
pacing. But I'm like, dang, this is
yeah,
crazy. That this He's mopping the floor and everything. Meanwhile, yeah, the jobs are disappearing. You know what I'm saying? People are
yeah,
starting to,
yeah.
I don't have to insure
And
the
while we're looking and saying, "Wow," and "Wow, look at that, ain't that cool?"
yeah.
People are losing their jobs.
Mm,
So what Jerome Powell was basically stating is that when that happens, where do the middle class go? Because
yeah.
the middle class will now be poor. Well, they're going to have something called universal basic income, and they're practicing it right now in places like, well, they're almost in full swing in China, but they're practicing it in United States and places like California. For some reason, everything starts in the West when it comes to things like this,
Yes.
and they're giving certain people that make a lower income like an extra $1,000 a month. You know, so what Powell said was, you're going to own nothing and be happy. So basically, what if they give you like, I don't know, like $35,000 a year to live off of CBDCs. But the thing is, with CBDCs, just like they're doing in Japan, I don't know if it's going to happen here. Don't quote me on this. But what they're doing is, the way that they're doing credit is different from the way that we do credit now. They're doing credit from information that you give online.
Yes.
So data is like your credit. So basically, if you say something about the government or anybody online, they're going to know it like through your data. So if you said something against the government or anything like that, and you went
Data.
on a bus, they'll show you going on a bus.
Data.
They scan your face. And when it comes up, and they'll say, "Oh, you can't get on this bus," or they'll say, you can only use like $250 this month because you messed up with it. And you're like, "What about my other 3,000?" Nah, you messed up with saying something about, yeah, things of that. So now they're swearing up and down that's not going to happen here.
Yeah.
But I bet you, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, they'll start it with people like felons and things like that that
And
come
then
out
it'll
of jail
trickle
and say, "You
down to
can't
us.
do this." And then it's going to trickle to us. Absolutely.
So that's great. That's the name of the game is data. It's all about fighting for your data, selling your data, because they use the data to make decisions, to market everything. So it's all about data. So what decentralization is, it's about controlling your data, storing your data in your locations that you own. And that's what this is really about. So Matt, like we was talking about it last week, um, like if I tweet something, that data is stored, but it's not mine. I don't own it. But on a
Yeah.
decentralized side, I can do what I need to do, and I own my data. So
Right.
it's a keyword data.
Yeah.
you know,
And Slap, it's kind of like a double-edged sword on what you want to do. There's going to be some people that's like, you know what? I'm law abiding. I don't care. Just give me the money. I don't want to work anymore. And there's going to be people that's not going to want to work, because what if they give you like $37,000, right? And someone says, "I'll give you $40,000 to do this job with me," or 45. You're going to be like, you know what? It ain't even worth the effort. Just keep giving me the 37.
yes, yes.
You get what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You'll be renting. You'll be who's going to want to work if they're only giving you an extra $3,000?
I say this too. Far as work and everything is changing now. So
Yes,
again, here's another book I told y'all last week. Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson. Please read that book. Powerful book about change. So there's a changing of a guard. There's a changing of this is the information revolution. That's where we are. Where we're going. This is information. We're going into technology.
that's exactly where we are.
So as we get
Web
in,
3.0.
yes, as we're and as we get into this space, we have to educate ourselves, as ourselves and our families. All right, when I say our family, if you're watching this broadcast, there's a reason why you're watching the broadcast, so that you can get this information, so that you can take back and give it to the people in your circle. All right, because it's about the next generation, so that they can have an understanding of what's going on. So this is very important, because now, say 10 years from now, you took time to study this, or we researching this, and um, we're looking at it in a different light, because we have prepared ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? We got into it, and we understood what a wallet was. We understood, I want to say, the process. And that's what it is. Its key word is understanding the process of how they process your data. That's all it is. Data processing. Go ahead.
And one thing, Slap, for those of you who are finding it hard to follow this, if you want to know if this is really true or not, the simplest thing you can do, um, Ripple was gifted XRP. It used to be called OpenCoin, but they changed it to XRP.
Yeah.
Ripple is in a lawsuit right now to consider XRP a currency right now. And while we're looking at things to turn our head this way, when the most important things are going on this way, this is considered the most, no, this is in fact the biggest financial court case in human history, because it's about to change the world. It's a fact that it's the biggest financial court case in human history. But no one's, because it's getting ready to change the whole narrative of the way we move money. Quick, instantaneously, and cheap. So when you have your banks come up to you in a while and say, hey, we have this new system, we're partnered with Volante to send like faster, cheaper payments, and you can send payments anywhere for a fraction of the cost before. Volante is a partner of Ripple, and Ripple uses XRP. So the easiest thing for you to do is this: just go online, type in any major bank within the United States. Look up a major bank across the world and type in partnership with Ripple. It's easy. You'll see it. It'll be right in your face. But these are the things that I had to go through in order to get everybody aware today, because you have to cycle through a lot of stuff like me and Slap talked about last week. You have to cycle through a lot of gimmicks. There's more gimmicks out there to make you think that this is a scam than being real. And like when I started off, and that's a correction on that, Slap, it was 2017. When I started off in 2017, the gimmicks, it could have just made you get up and leave. I had plenty of friends that got up and left. They seen it as a scam. But now it's coming to the forefront. You're hearing it in the White House and everything. And like I said, we're in the court case. And it's been over what, Slap, 2 years?
Yes.
It's been over 2 years, this court case.
It's going.
And it's about to end. It should be ending this year. So this is why I'm trying to be informative to you about this. These ways that money is going to move is going to be a game changer. But there are going to be consequences. There's going to be consequences to it. There's going to be a lot of people losing their jobs. The markets are going to crash. There's going to be a lot of problem, reaction, solution. There's going to be a problem. There's going to be a relax and universal basic income. Is there anybody that has questions or anything, Slap, Nello?
You know what? I'm looking. If y'all have any questions out there, just let me know. I got the phone right now. So yeah, just ask any questions you want. I want to say this too. We talked about it earlier still about, onboarding you into the community. We're going to be here on YouTube and things of that nature. But if you really want to learn, if you really want to know, join the community as in the link. If you look at the link here in the description, it's 3dlearning.x at teachable.com, and you just subscribe. It's free. And once you get into uh, that database, then we know that you are there and you are aware and you want to learn more. We have different classes, and still has a class that he is going to be working on. And basically, if you want to actually learn more advanced, I want to say concepts, subscribe. So, follow the link and subscribe because there's a lot of other things that we want to teach you guys, but we're starting off small. And there's a lot of things like trust lines or how to create a metaverse, marketing, domains that are NFTs. There's a lot of different things that we want to talk to you about. But the thing is, you have to actually subscribe, become a part of the community. It's free to join, so that's it. And if anything else, let's see, anybody? Nope, no questions. What's going on? Let me see. Nope, nope. Anything else that you wanted to speak on, like far as like what you was talking about?
Well, I don't like to get too deep into politics, but
Yeah.
but there are a lot of political agendas that sped up this process, and I think that it was done purposely. You got to understand something. Like Ripple's been around since 2012, 2013, and they have all these partnerships. And when you tell somebody that nothing is going to be digital, everything is going to be relying on the dollar, well, you got to look at some place like the BRICS nation. They're rebuking the dollar. They're causing de-dollarization. They have their own system besides the SWIFT system, which is the old antiquated system we use now to send money across borders. They don't want to use it anymore because they're getting bullied by the dollar. So Saudi Arabia, for instance, check this one out. Saudi Arabia. The reason why our dollar is powerful today, right now, is because of Saudi Arabia, right? Because every country has to trade into the US dollar in order to buy oil. This happened in 1974, I believe. Nixon took us off of the gold standard, which we were backed by gold in 1971, I believe. And that's when the printing machine went on. And inflation went crazy. So it was backed by nothing until we got with Saudi Arabia. And we told them we'll protect them, through war and everything like that. You know what I mean? If they made the dollar, the petroleum dollar, and no one couldn't get it unless they went through the American dollar. Well, Saudi Arabia is now talking about using the Chinese yen, okay? And going over to the BRICS nation. So what happens to the dollar then if they refuse that and they say that other monies can buy the U.S. oil instead of that? The dollar that's a vicious blow, man. That's a vicious blow. So if you think potato chips are a small bag of potato chips is $2.49 now, you just wait. Like if they join the BRICS nation and that money starts coming back here because they don't use it, hey.
Yeah.
And that's going to cause job loss. That's going to cause a lot of things. So not to scare anybody. Well, it's just that I'm trying to get you prepared. That's it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy environment, crazy times we in. But success favors the prepared mind. So
Right.
that's it. Being prepared means that you have to educate yourself and do your due diligence. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically what we've been we're letting people know that we're speaking on this, and it's important times we in. It's the changing of the guards. And
Changing.
again, we're gonna keep saying these little concepts so people can understand the jar is being shaken. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So don't
Yes.
fall for it. Don't fall for the okey doke. And it's a lot of stuff that's happening. We need to come together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And learn. And that's what the community is about. So like I said, join the
Well,
community.
just like you said, Slap man. Don't pay attention to us. This is why I keep saying after everything I say,
Yeah.
you can look it up. Go to Google. Yeah. Look at Saudi Arabia and the BRICS nation.
What did Africa say? What did Africa say?
Africa said, I'll show that video next week, Slap. Africa said in a couple weeks, if you're holding US dollars, I'd advise you to get rid of it or it won't be nothing, at least not in this country. Yeah. So these are things that's really happening. It's not coming out of my head. You can look it up. And I always tell you, don't pay attention to me. Just hear it from me and then go write it down and look it up.
Just look at it.
It's right there in your face. See, I don't. There's a lot of things I don't get into because I'm so much into this. So like Slap would tell me about something, or somebody would tell me about something that happened on television. Man, let me tell you something. I didn't know about that Will Smith slap until about 3-4 days later, man.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Karen Steele. What is BRICS?
Oh, my aunt Corinne.
Yeah.
What's up, Audie?
There you go. What's the BRICS nation? They want to know what that is.
Oh, I'm sorry. The BRICS nation consists of 5 countries, right? Which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, right? But what's happening recently is that it might be BRICS fish ram. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many countries that's joining it because they don't want to be beat up by, like, bullied by the US dollar anymore. For instance, Mexico yesterday just joined the BRICS nations.
Wow.
Argentina just joined the BRICS nation. France is going to the BRICS nation. Our ally is going to the BRICS nation. So, and what BRICS nation is doing is they're coming up with a new system where they'll be trading where the yen is more dominant, the Chinese yen is more dominant, and everybody can trade through their new system, which will be running, which the trustful, because everything is going to be tokenized. So all their CBDCs will be tokenized as well. Their money is going to be tokenized, and XRP is going to be moving those bulks of money. It doesn't discriminate. That's why it's decentralized.
How can we join the BRICS nation? No, for real. Well, all you gotta do. Wait.
We gotta move. We'll have to move to Mexico. Hey, but let me tell you something. It's nothing to be frightened about from a war standpoint, though. It really isn't. It's just from a financial standpoint. It's almost like I don't know, like the phrase my dad used to say: if you kick a dog so long that no matter how long you owned it, that joker gonna bite you. It's gonna bite you. And a lot of these countries have been kicked down so long, like America saying, "Oh, we're gonna take you off the Swiss system. We don't like what you're doing." Just like what they did with Russia for the war. I mean, a lot of people may disagree with it, but that system isn't supposed to be made for America to block you off just because they have the dominant dollar. But it's not supposed to be for that. So Russia and everybody is like, we're tired of that. So we're going to make our own system when everybody trusts everybody's money, because a $20 bill is just a printed green bill, man. And we see the value in it. And pretty soon here, while you're doing this, boop, 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 you're realizing that you don't have any money in your wallet. A lot of us don't have money in our wallet. So everything is digital anyway, just about. And that's why banks aren't giving people their money, because a lot of them don't have it in there.
You know where that money's at? That is in Mr. Walker's house that he just purchased, because they lent that out. So therefore, they
lend it out.
Yeah, if you go to the bank, you give them, you put the money in there. A majority of that is going to a loan, and that loan is going to what? Basically, whoever's purchasing the loan. And therefore, when you try to get your money, you can't get it because it's in the loan.
It's in the loan. And that's why banks shut down like the other ones did. For instance, if I had $1 million in the bank, I want you guys to know this. Okay, let's go with 1,000. If you had $1,000 in the bank, there is a law that the bank only has to give you 10% of that. Yeah. Because the rest of it they do risks with. And that's what happened with the one in California, the very first one that went down. They took a risk that the inflation was going to stop, and it didn't. It went up. They took a big risk with that. And they lost a lot of people's money when they wanted it. They couldn't give it to them because they simply didn't have it. They lost it on a risk. And that's what banks do. Banks do things. They lend it out. They get profit with your money and things of that sort. But you only get 0.000 what? Interest. And some of them take your money every month. Take $5 off of you every month. So everything is going to have to change.
So, if I wanted to get into crypto, or as far as like what I want to get into crypto, I want to buy my currencies, and I want to get into it just so that I can see how they work. What would you advise the people? What would be the entry point as far as getting into buying your crypto, your currency,
Well,
getting
you
your
know what?
XRP or XM,
I got a plan for that.
Okay.
I got a plan for that I want to show slap, especially for the X coins, in particular the X coins. That's what I study the most. I got a plan for that I'm thinking about putting into the metaverse. So hopefully by next week I can have that up and set up and show everybody how to get those coins, man. Not financial advice. I'm not the one to tell you how many to get. Hey, man, let me tell you a story. There's a guy here that I was like when I was teaching. I was giving a lecture, and there was a guy that came up to me and he was asking about and everything, and he said he was in the stock market. So we was talking. I was giving him advice. He was sending me whatever for the advice and stuff like that. But then I found out. I told him. I said, and this goes for everybody else too. When you go to invest, don't put anything in that you can't afford to put in, because you will take it out quickly, because this market goes up and down. When I first got in, I was the same way. When I got in, I was like, oh, when's it going up? When's it going up? Without studying. See, now that I know, knowledge eliminates fear. So now that I know that this is going to do what it does, you know what I mean? And I've studied, I'm cool. If it go all the way down to a nickel, I don't care. It's 50 cents right now too. If it went down to a nickel, 3 cents, I don't care, because I know it's going to go back up. You have to put in what you don't care about going up and get educated along the way. You know what I mean? So that's dead on number one right there. But the guy ended up putting in way more. Like he only been studying for like a week. And then he told me the amount that he put in. I said, look, man, if you put in that much amount, you don't need my advice anymore. I should be asking you questions. Like, what did you learn to put that much money in there, man? And then it got to the point where he just kept calling me and was like, what do you think? What do you think? I was like, what do you think? You know what I mean? You have to study. You keep asking me, I'm sending you all this stuff to study, but you're still asking me the same question. So my advice would be for everybody is to look up those banks that I told you about. Start from scratch. It's small things. Look up those banks. Look up what is XRP. Look up, the small things like that. And it'll educate you a little bit more. But next week, I should have something in the metaverse ready for you, Slack, to show people how to get onto that.
So what's going to happen is we're going to onboard you into our community. So go to the link that's underneath this video and subscribe. Then you get into our database, and then we'll send you the invitation to these metaverses. And so these metaverses are filled with information, videos, extra, I want to say, stuff that we've been exposed to. Because we watch thousands of videos. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
I want to say probably 50 or 60% of them were like just the same repetitive. But 40% was very valuable, and they're not even talking. You don't see that. So that's one of them videos right there are very special. So we have a lot of information and without the fact, you know what I'm saying? And you can actually go straight to it. And it's going to be in these metaverses. So like I said, just subscribe. And I can looking forward to building your metaverse so that I can put all that information in it.
Yeah, man. That's funny when you talk about the videos, man. It's the only I found out that's the only thing I'm surrounded by. I got people like friends of mine who I love, man. I love them, but they call and say, where you at, man? Like, I don't hear from you. How come you ain't responding to my vids and things of that sort, man? I'm like, man, I'm not really, I get excited about like certain videos that come out or an article that just came out to the point where I can't wait to go home and grab something to eat and start reading it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's how much I'm into it. So like I said, everyone, like, please do your own due diligence. Don't believe me. Don't believe slap. Just attain everything that we said and just look it up. Google it.
Just
You'll
look it
find
up.
it.
I
Yep.
my I think this technology is amazing on so many different levels. Financially, you see how the world is using the technology. There are other ways that you can use your technology, not just on the financial side. Like I like the education or teaching side, be able to actually create and empower yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not just about um, you know the financial side, but it's also about how can you empower you as an individual. How can
Yeah.
how can you get your word out? You understand what I'm saying? So it's about marketing your greatness, your potential. And
Mm-hmm.
if that's something you want to get into, then you gotta follow the trends. You gotta follow what's going on, what's the latest things that are going on. And Web3 is where everything is moving to. So yeah, just
Well, and on top of that, going into the financial next week, would be a good topic to talk about why they're calling this the biggest generational shift, the biggest financial shift in human history. Human history. So there's only there's only three things that happened before this, and this is the biggest one. So yeah, we'll go into that a little bit next week, and I'll explain why that is.
yes.
And I think everybody will be you guys will be a little intrigued about that. So I hope you got a little aspect about the CBDCs. Like I said, look it up. Ask what is the CBDC. I gave it to you in a basic nutshell, but it does get a little bit deeper. But from a layman standpoint, that's what it's going to do. Like a CBDC is going to get transferred from bank to bank with XRP. Okay. Um, and also, CBDCs are going to be what the government owns. The government owns the CBDC. So if the government owns the CBDC and you're getting universal basic income through CBDCs, guess who you're owned by? So that's why it's good to invest in these coins because they give more freedom. They're going to give more freedom in the future. Yeah. So next week we'll talk about why it's the biggest generational shift in human history, man. That'll be fun.
Uh, okay, I got another question. How does the meta universe work? How does the
Who's
metaverse work?
that?
That is Kyron Steele. Kyron,
RT.
yes.
Love you, baby.
So if you look behind me, that is a metaverse to set up that I created, and basically, it's created on the blockchain. So if you look at that, that's pretty much an NFT, which is a non-fungible token. That basically is just information, right? And you can actually interact with it when you put it on certain platforms. So this is a platform that I use, and I can go into this space. VR. VR is virtual reality, and with virtual reality, you're immersed in the actual metaverse. Meaning, you got your Oculus; those are glasses that you can look around and see. And when you're immersed, you're basically almost it's like you're there. So there's
It's
studies.
it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. So it's studies have shown that it increases the learning. Uh, it shortens the time that one spends trying to learn about a concept. It does. It has a lot. They're using it in the health field. They're using it in so many different ways, but it's called learning. And you can go to the website 3dlearning.x at teachable.com. You'll see the definition of what that is and everything that I'm talking about is on the website. But um, it's a powerful thing. I myself, I'm a person who deals with nature, and it was hard for me to navigate over into this field, but it had I mean majority of what you see in the metaverse is coming from nature. It's like a duplicate. It's a synthetic version of that. But
Yeah.
you got to think about it like this: if there's a person who is maybe in a hospital and can't get to Kemet or Egypt, well then they can get these Oculuses and take that visit and look at the pyramids as if they're there. So it's so many different ways that you can use it. Um,
There's going to be, let me, not to interrupt you, Slap, but two things that I was thinking about in particular that I believe I heard before, because I know this is your field, the metaverse. I heard that in the future, a lot of people are going to be working in it.
yes,
Their jobs are going to be in the metaverse.
there's jobs
What else
now.
was?
There's jobs now.
Yeah, there's jobs. Is there jobs now?
Yes,
There's jobs right
right
now in
now.
the metaverse, and there was like, there's replicas of like, I think somebody said that there was replicas of clubs like in Miami and everything like that that you can just put on, even with the real estate. If you bought a piece of land, like my apartment that I have right now, if I bought land, I could put it on that property if it was on the ocean down here.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then some people can say, hey, man, can I go to your place? You know, in the Oculus, they can go to your place because it's the exact replica and they can just chill there for a while. Unreal things.
So she said, I heard that they don't have they have half of bodies. So she's in.
There's a body right. Look at that. Hey, move your head, Slap.
What's up?
Move your head.
See, look.
Move your head a little bit. See those legs?
He got legs. He got legs. You see? That's me. That's actually me in the metaverse. It's a screenshot of me in my space teaching about the buckyball, and these are NFTs. So basically, that's funny. What you were at what you looked at is the centralized side, which is Meta, which is I forget the actual multiverse. Multiverse is a platform that is under Facebook. That when you're in there with the Oculus, basically you don't have your bottom half. You only have the upper half. So that's all that is. That's just another side. That's the centralized side, not the decentralized side, but the centralized side. What you're looking at is decentral. We got legs over there. But
they dance, they run, they jump, everything.
And really it is just the meta means beyond, and verse is verse like metaphysical. It's the same thing as like metaphysical. Meta is beyond, and physical. So anything beyond the physical is metaphysical, but metaverse is the same. It's the same concept. But everything that they're pretty much doing, the technology is coming from a natural side or a part of us. Swarm technology is a technology that decentralized platforms are using, and it comes from the bee. So they studied the bee, they watched the bee do what it does to the hive, and all the bees are actually sitting there working for the hive, for the good of the community. And they said, well, we can duplicate this and put this in the metaverse. So that's why you see um, in cryptocurrency or blockchain technology, there's many working together for the good of the ecosystem, and that's just pretty much what that is. I mean, there's a lot, and there's negatives of I want to say negatives and positives. I myself, when I first got into it, I got addicted to it, like to the point where I was like, I need to get back to my garden. So you got to really just portion your days. So that we teach about that addiction and everything too. We have classes that deal with that. That basically, when you get into this, don't get your mind so wrapped up into it that you forget about what's real. You know what I'm saying? Reality.
Yeah.
So
hey, Slap, let me tell you, man, I got one for you.
Yeah.
I was at a place called the Waterway Cafe. That's the place I used to live at before this.
Yeah.
And it's like a little nice little place. I used to go for a beer or two after on a Friday, right? So I go in there and I'm hanging out, and there was a lady beside me, and after about 2 beers, I'm feeling nice, and she like tapped me on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What's going on?" And she said, "How come they can't save that for the house?" And I was thinking it was probably like somebody kissing or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Look over by the water." Well, on the patio by the water, there was 2 girls just with the Oculus on, man, and they were just going at it. They didn't even eat yet, bro. They was just doing hand movements, and they looked like they was about 40. It was crazy. And I was like, you know what? There might be something to this. This was a couple years ago, though. And I was like, there might be something to this. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
immersive,
I'm terribly glad you got into it, bro.
yeah, and this started off of a 15-minute, 20-minute conversation with Still 4 years ago. And
Yep, yep,
from that, it just, man, I just jumped into one topic and then really studied it and then everything else. But this immersive learning, I want you to look up immersive learning and the benefits and why people are moving toward it, because it speeds up the learning process. If I can speed up the learning process, if I can learn about concepts quicker, hmm, I
mm-hmm.
think that might benefit me.
Well,
One thing real quick. One thing we try to do is get you into the community. Once you're into the community, we're gonna show you how the blockchain works. How basically what's the meaning of decentralization? What better way to do it but to be interactive with it, to immerse yourself with it. You may not have the Oculus or whatever. It's all right. You can use your phone or computer to go into these programs and be able to see the stuff and do everything that you see behind us, but you could be there and learn about I want to say the technology in a whole nother light.
yep,
Yep.
yep. We can tell it to you the way that we can, but I also want to say this: we can tell it to you the way that we can, but there's nothing like being hands on with it.
Yes.
And where Slappy is at in that metaverse will help you a lot, man. One thing about that was, I remember Slap, man, when I told you about the coins, right? And he was like, yeah, I got the coins. Yeah. And he understood and he studied. And then a month later, he was like, I'm in the NFTs. I said, what? What is that? I was like, he was like, it's off of what you told me. Don't get me wrong. He was like, but I'm telling you still this and that. And at first I was feeling some kind of way, but then the more he came at me with it, I was like, man, this guy is on to something. Yeah. And believe me, everybody at home knows who me and Slap are. You know what I mean? I mean, people change every day. Don't get us wrong. But if you know us and you know that we're on here on the internet talking to you about this, you have to know that there's something to this. Because I would not get online and talk about anything that I didn't believe in strongly. And Slappy is the same way. So I just advise you. What you say, Arnie? It will behoove you to study this. It will behoove you to look these things up, because I think you'll get to the point where we are right now, man. You'll be like, you know what? I don't want to be on a universal basic income. Yeah. You know, and this is the beginning stages of this, man. Yeah. Just like I showed last week. It's the beginning stages. So that's the time when you want to get into something, especially when you believe in it.
Yes.
Okay.
And when it's really down.
When it's really down. When it's really down. And knowledge eliminates fear, man. Yeah. Like I told my wife when that Joker was going down to like, it was a couple months ago. That Joker was going down to like 20, looked like it was going to hit 29 cents. Man, everybody else was panicking, and I was the happiest man. I was the happiest man in town, bro. I was waiting for that to go down to 29 cents.
And that's what I learned from Still. See, what happened was when I first got into it, and I had my first crypto winner, and I lost. I mean, it was like, yo, this is crazy. I don't like this feeling. This is crazy. Still was like, man, I've been there several times, man. I've been there, and so. After a while, I had to listen to that, and then I began to figure out. I got out of that thinking. You understand what I'm saying? So once I started thinking about it in a different light, where you know what I'm saying, it's not about today. It's really about a tomorrow thing. It's really a generational thing. I started thinking differently, and it helped me. So I see a lot of people now. They sit there and they're so, looking at the price right now. They're only seeing now. They don't see, and they're not, as far as like seeing the potential. They don't see that potential, and therefore they get a little frustrated. And I learned my lesson. I still, like I said, he talked to me. It's like, man, I can't do this. So I started breeding. I started breeding crypto. I know y'all like, what the hell is breeding crypto? I started breeding crypto.
I said, man, what are you doing? Like, what is that?
Making crypto babies, right?
I was like, you're breeding cryptos? I'm like, wait a minute.
He's like, what is he talking about? I was like, yeah, I'm breeding them now. I'm like, yeah, we can breed cryptos. I'm like, okay, all right. So You can breed them. You can fight them. You can actually what else? Breed, fight, sell them. You can do a whole bunch of different things. But I started doing that. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. It took my mind off of the crypto winter.
Yeah, yeah. So, but Slap. I know that the time is getting
Yes, it is.
thin
Yes, it
now.
is.
So
Yep.
I just wanted to let you guys know that we're going to do it again next week. Now,
Next week.
stay with us.
Stay
So
with
now,
us.
what I would like you guys to do is look up what we refreshed on. What XRP is, what XLM is, what XDC is, what CBDCs are. You know what I mean? And the metaverse. Tell them what to write down and look up.
Just go to the 3dlearning.x at Teachable. It's the link right underneath the video, and just subscribe.
Mhm.
And then basically, you'll be a part of our database, a part of the community. We'll welcome you on with a community
Please
tab.
subscribe to that.
Yeah. And
Yes.
then from there, you'll get more information where you can learn and be immersed in the metaverse, and you can learn about different things there. This is video. You can listen to it, but there's other things that are out there, other
Yeah.
topics that we don't have. Like we don't have a lot of time in these videos, and shoot, we could be here 4 or 5 hours sitting there talking about
I'm
this
telling you.
stuff.
So what
Yeah.
we'll go through next week,
Yeah.
everybody, after you look those things up real quick,
Yeah.
take it down. And then next week we're going to show you why, after you seen those things and skimmed them a little bit, why this is the biggest generational shift in human history.
There you go.
On the metaverse side and the crypto side. All right?
Yes. And on that note, yeah, we're gonna get out of here. It was a blessing. We appreciate you guys even coming out and watching. You know what I'm saying? Very, we're just beginning this. This is our second time that we did this, and
Deuce.
it's gonna keep getting better. And it's pretty much how can we empower each other? That's what it really is about. How can we empower each other? You know.
Yep.
So on that note, we're gonna get out of here. This is 3dlearning.x, and this is G Still. I'm Justice Slappy, Cryptoglyphics 21 on though you could look that up too.
Stay away from jar shakers.
Yeah, and we're gonna have that merch too soon. We're gonna have that
Stay
merch.
away from jar shakers
Charlie,
and try
where
to
you
take
at?
you away from
Go ahead.
take you away from what you're trying to believe in. Stay away from the jar shakers. All right, y'all.
Peace.